I'm stuck. What the f? Hello? What's up, buddy? I'm of the opinion that there were legitimate sightings of UAPs over restricted military airspace. That's true. Like that fact is true. Then after that fact was public, then people started seeing all these crazy lights in the sky, drones, but there's like a mass hysteria right now in that area where you've got, I'll call them casuals, like people who don't really know anything about UFOs, UAPs, airplanes, helicopters, like very casual day-to-day people who apparently never look up in the sky, are taking videos of what is clearly airliners, helicopters, and actual drones, like small quadcopters. Like they're videotaping them, like, and they're verbally, oh my gosh, I have no idea what this, and these drones or helicopters in some cases, and airliners, like you can clearly see like fuselage, turbines, like so they have red and green blinking lights, FAA regulations for navigation lights, and they have the blinking white lights under the fuselage, and then some of them even have the landing lights, those super bright lights. And like, it's very obvious to anyone with any kind of IQ, I would say, could look at that and go, oh yeah, that's nothing. That's not like crazy UFO or whatever. That's like a fucking drone, or it's a helicopter. And then since everyone has a drone these days, you've got all these people flying up their drones going, I want to see. And so everyone's like seeing each other's drones going, it's crazy. There's a swarm. When it's just like everyday people sending up their shit in the sky and everyone's seeing each other's shit, freaking out about it. Like, that's where the whole mass hysteria thing happens. And the actual incursion over military airspace has gone. It's long and done with. Like, the military air bases consistently are infiltrated. That's a fun word for this this example. By UAPs, by some advanced type of drones. And I think those advanced types of drones, most of them are our own military tech that we're testing, surveillance capabilities, detection capabilities, anti-drone capabilities. Can they be shot down by our own tech? That would give us a good indication if, you know, China or Russia could shoot them down as well during some kind of wartime event. That's what I think. Now, I also do think that there are actual UAPs, NHI, non-human intelligence that are controlled by potentially aliens. I do think that is also a thing, but a separate thing in this particular scenario. And this one specifically, the ones that intrigue me are the ones that are about the USOs. They're talking about the ones that are coming off of the coast, and they're basically going to and from water with hours of loitering time. And that's not technology that we don't already possess. That's not like it's an unhuman-like technology. Yeah, exactly. They're pointing out like literally planes. And then, like I said, even if they're pointing out UFOs, like there's nothing illegal about people flying drones. Yeah, we're just flying saucers around. But like, you know, that one viral clip of the NYPD, I think it was the NYPD, where they got that huge drone, right? That like big kind of octagon shaped drone. And they were kind of touting that thing around. And like the story behind that one was pretty sus. Like it was like, oh yeah, this was found on the ground outside of a warehouse, and the building was like owned by BlackRock, and they used to develop like fucking drone like it was like one of those like, are we sure about this story? Like one of those kind of stories. But it was still just a big ass drone. Like if you had enough money, you could go buy one of those today. Everyday people have no idea what they are because they see it and they're like, what the heck? Who has this kind of technology? This is crazy. So if you think that we ain't got some crazy shit cooking up in these black budget programs fully 3D printed craft and new propulsion technology. I got a little surprise for you. Now, you see, I disagree. All the alien talk, I don't think is nonsense. Yeah, if you take the word of me talking about it, yeah, I might sound like I'm spewing nonsense, sure. But when you actually research the topic and you understand that it goes back before the 50s, but the 50s is when it really started popping off, there's too much circumstantial evidence and official military reports and official whistleblowers from military, from three-letter agencies, from our government, from other governments, from other nations, where it's not just a one consolidated event. I think there's too much there to then write off the possibility of aliens. Speaking of, I just watched James Fox's new documentary. Did you guys see it? It just dropped like yesterday, called The Program. That was a really cool documentary. A few interesting parts from that documentary. The interview with Jason Sands, that one was like a very suspect one because of how Jason Sands kind of came out on Twitter. But the interview in the documentary was really interesting. And then, oh shit balls. Where'd my rocket just go? Did I mention to you guys why I hate Paramo as a map? It's a terrible design. I don't know if I ever like discussed that with you guys of why this map actually sucks. This would be a prime example. There's two people in the compound below me and this guy here. The two people in the compound below me are literally right next to each other, not shooting each other. And I couldn't see this guy because of the big ass foliage under the hills. So I just literally just get shot through a bush because you can't see the enemy. And I also shot my rocket at him and the rocket just poof, disappeared. But anywho, Jason Sands' interview was really cool. And the other one, which I knew about the story, but I never knew the details of the story. And the story was about the 1990 or 1994, I think it was 1990, UFO case in England. There were these two chefs. They were out at a smoke break and a UFO flew past them, followed very close by Harrier jump jet. They snapped 6 photos of it. Those photos were given to, if I'm remembering the story, given to the local news station. So like they did an interview with them, gave them these photos, the prints. Then they went to go pick up the photos, or the interviewer, like the investigative journalist, went to go to the news station to get the photos once he found out they had them, and then was told they don't have the photos anymore. The British Air Force took the photos, but the investigator had a copy of one of the photos, like a photocopy of one of them, and the hard copy of that photo he's had for 30 years, and that photo's been floating around the internet. But the actual physical hard copy of it, he apparently has. And he was in the documentary and interviewed, and the story was given. And one of the co-workers to the chefs also did an interview. That co-worker interview was, it didn't, not sensationalized, but like when you just watch the interview, like, this guy, like, I don't know, credentials, not that much. But the story is very fascinating. And the problem is that the people who have analyzed the photo to see if it's been, spoofed or tampered with or photoshopped or whatever, they say the photo looks legit, but I'm pretty sure they're also basing it off of the photocopy, because the British Air Force has the actual hard copies of the 6 shots. So I don't think anyone's actually analyze those if they do in fact exist. But that photo, if you guys haven't seen it, is a very cool photo. I'll show you after I dominate this boot camp drop. I dominate, I mean, get this. There's no, what's up? Bro, everyone's got RPGs. What the hell? Dude. I just got RPG'd in the back and then in the front. Look, this guy, and then the guy at the staircase was pulling one out as I ran. I was like, oh shit, turn around, ran away from him. I was like, oh shit. Try to get the hell out of Dodge. So this is the actual guy, the investigator, who, you know, apparently has had this photo for 30 years. Retired RAF officer Craig Lindsay held onto a copy of the original pictures taken by two hikers for 30. Oh, is it two smokers or two hikers? Did I f that up? Two hikers for 32 years, waiting for someone to ask about the case. Okay, I think I might have screwed the story up. They were chefs, but they were on a hike, not a smoke break. Okay, that might have been critical need to know information that I left out of for you guys. My apologies. But here's the photo. Let me just get the actual photo. Look, here's the photo. Allegedly, this is the photocopy of the photo. So the fence, trees, the landscape in the background, and then this diamond-shaped UFO with a Harrier jump jet trailing it. And then this is, again, that's the hard copy that this guy had for 30 years. And he gave the interview to James Fox, and it was in the documentary. But there is a recreated version. So this is a recreated version, obviously like AI juiced up. I thought the jet in the photo looked more like an F4 Phantom than a Harrier, but I didn't actually look up to see when the Phantom came out versus the Harrier. I thought the Phantom was before the Harrier, but anywho, I mean, whatever. This is, again, just an AI image, so they obviously took some liberties with the background and stuff. But James Fox went on site where they believe the photos were actually taken, just to get a bit better feel and view for like what they could have seen and where they could have seen it from. And yeah, so they talked about the story. The interviewer was that guy, James Clark, or not James Clark, whatever his name, David Clark. He was a RAF officer that investigated it, and he had the copy. And then James Fox found a co-worker, allegedly, of the two hikers, who I think were chefs. I think that's how they were. They knew each other, and the guy said that the two workers came back to work, whatever, like the next day, and men in black approached them. Like an unmarked car pulled up, driver in the front, two guys in the back, black suits, pouring rain. They get out, they're talking to him in the pouring rain. The two guys come back inside. The guys in the men in black cars drive away. Two guys come back inside, and they're basically like spooked to shit. They were never the same. They kind of went off a little crazy, went on drinking benders or whatever, and then eventually just disappeared. Like they just vanished off the face of the earth. Why doesn't the guy have the names? I don't know. So red flag, right? The interviewee, if you did work for these two guys in the 1990s, there should be paperwork for that. 1990s isn't that long ago. When I guess, well, anyway, I had a job was 15, so that would have been 2005. 15 years old. So was paperwork had in 1990? Yeah, maybe it's not digital. It might be physical paperwork, but it shouldn't be too hard to track down the names of the people, allegedly. So hopefully James Fox does some actual investigation into that and tries to figure out if it's legit or not. But the weird thing about that photo was the RAF was going to, they were apparently scheduled to release the originals, the 6 originals, and then they changed some rule, and now they're not saying that they're going to release the 6 originals for another 30 years due to privacy concerns or something like that. So I mean, I don't know what to make of that. You take just some crazy dude's story, or two guys' story on it, it's suspect, right? And in terms of photos, that's one of the craziest photos I think is out there for UFOs. During the daytime photo, I don't know if you can show me a cooler photo than that. Well, the more you research into the secret military programs, the more shit you start to hear about. There's guys talking right now via podcasts and interviews who are in and were in programs, and the TLDR is that we discovered ways to manipulate gravity, like manipulate as in not just brute force through a rocket, fire, equal reaction, opposite reaction to move your craft, like actual electromagnetivity. Is that the word I think I might be looking for? Ways that you can manipulate mass with electromagnets to basically defy gravity, defy the effects of gravity. And the conspiracy is that we found out about this technology decades ago and have basically compartmentalized it and suppressed it so that our small researchers, our closed off black budget program researchers, can get ahead and learn all the ins and outs of this technology before China, Russia, or another adversary do. That's the conspiracy. Then you add on top of that we have a craft or multiple craft, and we have biologics, NHI, aliens, multiple. I think all of them are dead now, according to all the stories. That we've, reverse engineered one or multiple of the craft to help progress on this trajectory of learning how to manipulate gravity and get these faster than whatever light technologies. And basically, it's an arms race. That's the conspiracy theory, is that it's a massive arms race. Just like how the nuclear program was, how it was, a mad rush to develop the first usable nuclear bomb. And then it was an arms race to get to space and all that. Like, this is that next arms race that's been going on, behind the scenes for decades. And whichever company or country, rather, figures it out first, I mean, checkmate, GG. Yeah, Japan already has the magnet train, but that's not really the same thing. Similar. Not the same thing. Hello? Dude, what are you doing with that RPG? Yeah, it also could be a massive psyop. It very well could be. And then, I would say a psyop for what, right? Like, what are they trying to cover up? That would be my question. If only Newton hadn't invented well, Newton didn't invent gravity. Look, so you need to go, if you're interested in the topic at all, you need to go look at Thomson Brown. And then Jesse Michaels on YouTube, or your podcast, would be the best place to go. He did a great video on Thomson Brown a few months back, or 6 months ago, or something like that. And okay, that guy did not strafe back like I thought he was. Some mayhem here, dude. Basically the thought, again, is that we've already learned how we can do it, the principle, the concept behind it. And maybe at this point, we've actually learned how to do it as well. And all this stuff about string theory has basically been a psyop, for lack of a better term, to allow the more general scientific population to spend a lot of their time and money and resources on that technology path, knowing that it's not really going to lead them anywhere, to kind of bait and switch China, Russia, etc., from the stuff that we really want to research and use as a weapon. I'm stuck! What's up, buddy? Wait, what? Oh, dude, where's the audio at? Dude, there was zero audio in this guy coming up. I mean, absolutely zero audio. I guess I might have been still deafened from that grenade, huh? Yeah, that guy's making zero footsteps. Yeah, that's one of the downsides with this destructible terrain stuff is I think the game is struggling to remember what still has footstep sounds, what doesn't, what terrain you're on. Like all that stuff plays a big role in footsteps, obviously. And that guy legitimately had like zero footsteps right there. Yeah, anyway, so go look up Thompson Brown. Yeah, you guys need to remember too, like gravity like isn't invented. Like gravity is just it's a force. It's a thing that just exists with anything that has a mass. So it's not like gravity was made by a company. It was discovered, sure, but one of the things that they talk about, again, you guys gotta look up Jesse Michaels, Thompson Brown YouTube video, and then the most recent one was what's the guy's name? Let me look it up. Most recent one I'd recommend. So look up Jesse Michaels, Thompson Brown first. And then Jesse Michaels. 4 days ago, CIA contractor, Obama received an alien prophecy is the title of the 2-hour podcast. Go listen to that. And then I'm dead. What up, baby? My boy Monkeys. My boy Blue. You hear that audio again? Hello? Oh. Hello? Hello? How'd you survive that? How are you so tanky? How much health does this guy have? Dude, this RPG, I feel like it should have hit him too. They hit the corner of that wall. Yeah, it did hit the wall. This guy didn't even have a helmet too. I didn't even realize that. I should have hit him in the head. No shot. What's this guy's ping? I shot him twice with the shotgun and only one shot registered. Unfortunate.